everybody, this is VisitJoan, and welcome to another Sims 4 Discover University build. This time around, I am building family housing. Now, what the heck is that, you're probably wondering? Well, where I went to school, they had, all the residence halls, but then they also had what was called the Northern View Apartments. And that is on-campus housing for students who have children, students who, have spouses or partners, or just students who are like 2 years out of high school. And it's on campus, buses stop there and everything, and it allows students who have children dependent on them to live on campus and be really close to their classes. So that's what I was going for here. Now, if you remember, back when they had the gameplay trailer for Discover University, and they had the one woman who brought her toddler to a study group, and everyone was kind of flipping out like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. Or some people I know, like Simmer Aaron especially, she was like, I don't think that is what you think it is. And like, in past games, when you went to university, you either had to do that before you had children, or you had to leave your children at home behind. But in The Sims 4, you can go to university while you live at home. So you can have, your children with you in Britchester, or as I am doing here, on campus itself. So that's what I was trying to do here. Now, this is a residential lot, so it is not limited to students of the University of Britchester. But, that's pretty much the limitations of The Sims right there. There's no way you can have exclusive university housing for families. It just doesn't exist. However, we can make residential lots on the University of Britchester campus. So if you have, single parents, or just Sims that have partners, or just a Sim that wants, a different experience, then this is for them. Now, when I went to look this up, I found an interestingly shaped building that I wanted to create, but, first problem is that I couldn't create the full thing because, well, these lots are so tiny. And the second problem was, it was on a diagonal. And oh my goodness, building on a diagonal in this game is a pain in the butt. I am not kidding you. Like, I originally had everything drawn out on the diagonal, but then I realized that wasn't going to be feasible. So I had to scrap it and redraw it all out. That's why I started with the tape markings on the the floor there, and with the stairs, because once I put the walls in, and I can't really put the stairs in, I have to configure them freely outside and then draw the walls around it. But I ended up putting the diagonal building on a diagonal, and then, basically the two units that are, the family units are basically, regular oriented. How do you say not on the diagonal? Is there actually a word for that? I actually have no idea. But there still is one room that was on a diagonal, and oh my goodness, I was trying to put counters in there, and you couldn't. You literally couldn't have a counter, adjoining counters around the wall like I usually do in kitchens. Like, you really couldn't do that on a diagonal, and I'm like, why? Why can't you do that? Is that too hard to program into the game? I mean, I would understand that it would, but aren't you guys professional programmers? I mean, it's... And then items never lined up, and I did eventually figure out something that made it look decent and look good. But all that happened off camera. I only furnished one little apartment on camera, and that is because, this video is like 60 minutes long, okay? Like, seriously. You don't need to be sitting here for half an hour watching me do the same things over and over again. So what I have here is basically two units that are meant for families. One unit that was built to house two kids, and one unit that, was built to house one kid. And then there is a third unit that really, when I was playing it, it was just supposed to be, just like you would oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. You would put an add-in for a roommate, and that's where they would live, and I didn't even have that one furnished when I was playing it. I just had the essentials. So, but once the family moved out, or both families moved out, I was able to go back in, redecorate everything, and then you will see screenshots of all the apartments and stuff at the end. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And there was another challenge in the fact that these rooms and stuff, they were all pretty tiny. And so I had to, cram as much in there as I possibly could without making it seem like there was nowhere to go and all this other stuff. And I don't know, it was just, it was an interesting build, let's put it that way. Like, so in case you haven't, figured out how exactly this would work, which I think most of you have, but, I just want to cover my butt in case nobody has any idea what the heck I'm talking about here, is that you would have different families, in the same household, but then you would just lock the doors to the different households. So they each would have their own little space. And that's what I did with the two that I had in here pretty much to test it, but I was also playing the game as well. And when they got romantically involved, I pretty much opened up the, the little, I don't even know what the heck I'm saying. Like the apartments, or opened up the doors, there we go, so that they could basically walk freely between the two units. So yeah, one unit is a little bit smaller than the other. That was not intentional, I don't think. It's just that I was running out of room. And yeah, it stinks, I know. But, these lots are just really tiny and stuff. And, part of me would like to see what it would be like to be able to build a residence hall on a 50 by 50 lot or something like that. But something just tells me that it's going to lag extremely, extremely bad. And that's just going to be a pain in the butt. But anyway, what happened here is I had kind of like a funky shape. And so I just wanted to square off the, the common area here, the reception or whatever it's called. And I did that off camera because, once again, you guys don't have to watch that. But, yeah, I kind of made it look like an actual reception area instead of just like a weird one with all these weird angles everywhere, because that would just be messed up. But, well, I mean, you guys, Douglas Hall, that building was disorienting, okay? Because basically what it would do is you would come in the middle between C and B wings, and then you would walk around, all the way around, like the edge of the building, because right in the middle were the two dining areas, the regular dining hall and then the flirt dining area. But when you would walk around, it just, you had like no idea where the heck you are in relationship to where you started. You just knew, okay, I'm at my room, I'm at the dining area, I'm at, oh my goodness. And so even when I look at this building, today, when I look at these pictures, I'm thinking, okay, well, this is supposed to be here. And I'm like, wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense. That's supposed to be here. What is going on? Oh, this building. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. How did I even get on this topic? I don't even really know. Oh yeah, I was talking about weird shapes. Yeah, that's probably the weirdest shape of all of them. But nobody has to deal with that anymore because, well, in the place where it was is now a road that just goes straight across. So, yeah, that is no longer an issue. I mean, I was looking at the map of campus yesterday to get some photos to show you guys in these videos, and oh my goodness, this campus is completely unrecognizable from, like, when I was there. It's just, like, I think I know the part, I lived, like, the last 2 years would be, recognizable, but if I go to the part where I spent the first year and a half, I wouldn't know where the heck I was, just because, the place where I lived is gone and there's a road there. I mean, that's just kind of like mind-blowing in and of its own right, And, there was another hall that was pretty much a carbon copy of Douglas called Lincoln Hall. Yeah, I know. But, I heard like 50,000 different things about like what happened to it. Like I heard at one point that they were going to take down 2 wings and put a parking lot there. And another point I heard that they couldn't tear it down because there was a huge bunch of like electrical wires under it. And I don't know, I know that for 1 year they basically had 2 of the wings open and the, dining hall wasn't even open just because it was open the first semester I was there, and it was really kind of an interesting dining hall because I would go there at the end of the week when my money would run out, just buy a bunch of stuff like chips and Rice Krispie treats and stuff like that, just so I wouldn't have completely wasted money. I also did that at, Stevens and Towers, but, that's just weird. That and Grant Towers, their dining halls were open the first semester I was there, and then they just closed, and they're like, no, everyone could just go to the new hall. Which was just weird because, on really cold days, you really don't want to leave the building to go eat because that's completely and totally uncomfortable. But, I mean, Douglas's food wasn't all that good to begin with. The only reason I started eating dinner there was because of Flurp, And so, yeah, I often found myself putting on my coat and trekking all the way to Newhall because Newhall's food was fantastic. Oh my goodness, I just really want their Alfredo. I just wish I could get their Alfredo, like right now. Like, oh my goodness. They had the best Alfredo on Mondays and Wednesdays, and the pasta bowl, oh my goodness, I miss it. I miss it. I really miss it. I miss not having to cook, too, because honestly, cooking is kind of a really big just waste of time, if you know what I mean. You spend, not just in The Sims, but in, like, real life, you spend so much time, waiting for something to boil when you could be doing something else. It's just annoying and a lot of effort, and it's like, no, I don't want to do this. Just give me a microwave meal any day. That's just easy. I can heat it up while doing something else. I don't have to stand in front of the stove and make sure that the house doesn't catch on fire or anything like that. Although I did have one friend have the microwave start a fire once in The Sims 2. So yeah, in The Sims that's a thing, but I've never actually heard of a microwave starting a fire in real life. Anyway, that was a pretty long and crazy tangent I went on. So back to the build. I'm now upstairs. And here's where the tiny part of it was just really kind of aggravating because, okay, I was trying to fit 2 beds in this room, and it just was, a struggle to fit every single thing I needed in this room for 2 different, children. And you see, my mom just texted me right when in the middle of when I was recording, of course. And so basically she wanted me to set the DVR to tape the Illini game or something like that. I didn't even know they were playing today, but hopefully I will remember to do that. Otherwise, I know I probably, should do it right now, but I really just want to get this done first because, this is kind of like my priority. Will you stop? Oh my goodness, these pingings when I'm trying to record, it's just, Anyway, you guys. So here I am in the children's bedroom when I actually had the family here and was actually playing the game. This was shared by, a boy and a girl, and I figured that wasn't that big of a deal because, they're kids. In 7th grade, when we did this, little life simulation thing, when we were trying to find apartments, we were told that the law is that if you got an apartment, there had to be, 1 bedroom for every person that wasn't married. But then, I keep seeing, all these apartments where 2 kids share a bedroom and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay, maybe that's not actually a rule. I really don't know, but whatever, Anyway, I am on to the master bedroom now. And this one, I don't even remember what happened. I honestly don't. I think it went smoothly, I think. Yeah, I'm just putting, stuff in here and a little desk for the sim to work on. And I figured that this is the person who is actually the student, so I gave them a computer and a little backpack and everything like that. And you can see right there, as you notice, the TV and the table the TV was on just randomly disappeared. I don't know why. I had to put them back, and I cut that out of the video. But anyway, you guys, this video is coming to an end, so I hope you liked it. If you did, I would really appreciate you leaving a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, you can follow me on social media. You can follow me on Instagram where you'll see behind the scenes, fun facts, stuff like that, at VisitJoan. And you can follow me on Twitter where you'll see my thoughts about Sims related stuff and when videos are coming out and things like that. But anyway, I'm going to get up out of here. So bye, everybody.